Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Walter. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, and excuse the normal appearance of roosters in the background. You say they're my audience anytime I do this. You know how back in the day TV shows had a live audience? I do this with a live audience. People, CT for approval, roosters going, yay! So, at least you have a crowd to play to, instead of a camera. By the way, thanks once again, Walter, for the paid request. If anyone has a request, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But this is for the 1995 film Nick of Time, which I had seen before, but it's been a while since I watched it. And it's directed by John Badham. Now, John Badham is one of those directors that doesn't really get talked about nowadays, but when you look back on his career, he did a lot of films I personally highly enjoy. I mean, he directed Saturday Night Fever, but also on top of that, he did Blue Thunder, a very underrated Roy Scheider film, great helicopter action movie. He did Short Circuit, a childhood classic to me. He did Stakeout, which deserves a Blu-ray. Funny, action, buddy comedy. That was a box office hit. Surprise hit, but again, not even a Blu-ray. We have the sequel on Blu-ray, but not the first one. But Stakeout with Emilio Estevez, Richard Dreyfuss, fun film. The Hard Way, that's a good one with Michael J. Fox and James Woods. John Badham's done a lot of good stuff, but when he got into the 90s, especially the later 90s, wasn't doing so well. Another Stakeout wasn't that good, and it bombed. Drop Zone, with Wesley Snipes he did, it was okay at best, and it didn't do that well at the box office. This film didn't do that well at the box office, and the film was okay. Like, this is an alright film. I don't think it's as bad as critics make it out to be, but I think there's a lot of untapped potential, which I'll get to. And what was I going to say? Oh, he did like one more theatrical film, and then any stuff he did after that was pretty much TV work, or yeah, they like TV work, because this was one of the last theatrical films John Badham directed. Now the film stars Johnny Depp, which was cool to see him in more of a mild-mannered, typical, normal role, as you call it. When I say normal, usually he plays off-kilter characters, whether it be Ed Wood or Edward Scissorhands or at Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But it's one of those where he just played a regular guy in a bad situation, and it was nice change of pace for Johnny Depp, and I liked him in the film. I thought he fit well in the role as a guy who comes into town with his daughter, and out of the blue, Christopher Walken and this woman say, "We're cops, please come with us." And they go to a van, and Walken threatens him has a gun and says, "Listen, we got your daughter. You go in, and in about an hour or so, hour and change, you are going to kill the governor. And if you don't do that, we're going to kill your daughter." And then a lot of the movie's done in real time. Like, there's an hour left in the movie, hour left to go. So I do like the idea of making a real-time movie. I do like the idea of Johnny Depp, good actor, versus Christopher Walken, good actor, from The Dead Zone, Pulp Fiction. He was in this film called All American Murder, which I enjoy. Charles Dutton is in the film, another good actor. Now, as the movie keeps going, there's certain dialogue points I like. "You're out of your mind." And Walker goes, "What's your point?" I did like that bit. And it seems like wherever Johnny Depp goes, Christopher Walken pops up everywhere. And I will admit, there's a lot of times that things come out that seem very convenient. Like, even in the cab, Like, he's taking a cab to get to the location, and he's ready to tell the cab driver what's going on. But lo and behold, as soon as he does it, boom, Christopher Walken's van pops near him, and he's like watching him. And I'm like, someone described Christopher Walken almost as an evil Jiminy Cricket. Like, how the hell is he popping up everywhere? Like, he's about ready to talk to this guy. To the point that you go, is the idea of just picking a random guy to go do this when any number of things can go wrong? And they even kind of make fun of the idea later where there's a big conspiracy, there's a lot of people, Secret Service, even other more important people that are involved with this, and one of them goes, you know, should have been easy, should have just been a high-powered rifle, but you wanted to get creative. And yeah, there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, and it makes you go, is there any way for this plot, this idea to go right? And let me get this a drink of water. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it makes you go, was there any part of this that could go right? But again, I think Johnny Depp and Christopher Walken actually do a decent enough job. Charles Dutton is a guy who shines shoes, and he overhears what's going on and is pulled into helping Johnny Depp get through this. But it's not that long of a film. It is one of those things, though, that it feels like it should be much more intense than what it is. It feels like it should be much more nail-biting than it is. And there's something missing, and I don't quite know what it is. I mean, yeah, you say there's conveniences, but there's a lot of thrillers. And a lot of thrillers I've liked and you've liked that have a lot of convenient moments as well. I think John Badham was the wrong director for this kind of plot. And I don't think this is a bad film. I don't think this is as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's at the very least a time waster. Charles Dutton is a very likable character who helps. And again, I see Johnny Depp do something different and just play a regular guy. He pulled it off well. With the glasses, maybe go, wow, this guy could pull off like Bruce Banner if they wanted him to back in the day. Like, I mean, Christopher Walken is always fun. Like when he tells a story about what happened to this guy and how to put him down like a sick animal. And he was my pal. This Italian jamoke. But this needed a Brian De Palma. This needed, what's his name? The guy who directed Road Games. And he also directed Psycho 2. God, I forgot his name. Richard, forgot his last name. That's another film I need to get on Blu-ray, Road Games. You needed that type of director for this kind of plot. Like Joe Schumacher, he actually did a good job with Phone Booth years later. Which, after a certain point, takes place in real time. It's a guy stuck in his phone booth. And that one, with how creative the camera work was, and keeping the tension high, and then you had Kiefer Sutherland, you don't see him, but you're hearing his voice, and to me, that kept the movie going, and such a intensity that you're pulled into the film. And I remember seeing Phone Booth in the theater, and just being really feeling that tenseness that a good suspense film can give you. This one, I think because there's so much lollygagging around, because, okay, he's about ready to do it, but then he doesn't, and so many times Walken keeps threatening him, and he's either, let me go get a drink, let me go to the bathroom, let me go this and that. And, number one, I think there's a lot more intricate camera work that could have been done. Maybe what they would do later on the show 24, if he did moments where you'd have like different, I think they should, like, how the hell, split screens And sometimes even more than one screen. Like there's a screen here, and there's a screen here, and then there's a screen here. I think a lot more of that could have been. There's really none of that implemented into it. I think that kind of style would have helped in this kind of movie. I also think it would have been better if we kept with Johnny Depp for a good chunk of the time. Meaning that, I'm not saying to do it all in one shot, but to really dip behind or dip with his character. And maybe it would have been an interesting idea if we never leave his character. We're in his point of view from the entire time. As soon as Christopher Walken gets him, boom, we're with him the entire time. We're with him the entire time doing this. It's not cut away to this. It's not cut away to that. Just sometimes it'll cut away to the woman with the kid in the van. It'll cut away to what Christopher Walken's doing. But if we follow Depp and we really focus 100% on his character, and we're through his eyes, this is what he's seeing. He doesn't know if his daughter's alive until we hear the voice and he hears the voice. And the whole time we're just hearing the voice of the kid, so we're in that anxiety with Depp's character of, we haven't seen the kid for a while, just like he hasn't seen the kid for a while. So I think there's some alright attempts by John Badham, because you look at his career, I mean, the closest he did to a thriller was maybe War Games, which is another good movie, War Games. But it's mostly Short Circuit, Blue Thunder, Stakeout, The Hard Way. Either like action or, Short Circuit is a different type of movie. And War Games did a good job, but that's a different kind of thriller compared to Nick of Time. And just a lot of dialogue about, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I'm sitting there and, I'm sorry I'm pausing for a bit, because I'm thinking, like, what is it about this film doesn't quite click? Because it's not like I was bored, it's not like I thought it was, yeah, there's a lot of conveniences. Like, there's a point where when Johnny Depp's being chased by a guy with a gun, and out of the blue, a guy with a food cart comes in, and it's like, well, that guy would have had to know that this guy was running and was going to pass by this exact time for the food cart to come in and smash the guy. Thankfully, he hit it at that time, not, a minute later or a minute too soon where the guy was just throwing it off. He hit it right at the same time that he needed to. Or, thank God, spoiler alert, that the woman's about ready right to kill the daughter, and just then Charles Dutton is there to knock on the window. If he was there a minute later, that girl would be paint on the side of the van. He'd be just a big Andy Warhol splosh. She would just be not having a good day. She'd have another hole in her head. But thankfully Dutton came around at that exact moment, that exact time. And I think what is not as suspenseful, is not as tight as you want it to be. Your mind wanders a bit, and you start seeing a bit more of these conveniences that, there's only a certain amount that add up that you go, oh, come on now. I always thought it was weird, too, that, and spoiler alert, they add a dream scene in the middle of this, which is like they only did it either A, to get some action in there, or B, for the trailers. If you watch the trailer, you see Johnny Depp shooting the gun, and Johnny Depp being thrown off this ledge, and oh my god, how is he going to live? Because, like, this woman that he told and is trying to help him out gets screwed over, gets shot, Johnny Depp get beaten up, and then he has this dream where he gets the gun and shoots Walken and shooting all these people, being action man, action hero, and then Christopher Walken takes him, wait, you're dead, throws him off the ledge, he falls, and then he wakes up, it was a dream. I always felt kind of cheap, to to put that dream scene in there. I said, oh, come on, really? Again, that felt like it was there to help get some movie trailer moments. And when you watch the trailer, a lot of moments from that dream is in that trailer. Well, not a lot, but pivotal moments are. Like him falling all the way. It's like, what the hell? I just thought that was a bit cheap. Especially if you watch the trailer, then you wonder how this is going to play out. You go, oh, that's how it plays out? Well, shit. Shit. And then I like the cast. The governor, I mean, she's played by the love interest that Clint Eastwood had in Heartbreak Ridge. I forget the actress's name, but she did a good job as the governor. Charles Dutton, like I said, is likable. When he overhears what's going on, and there's a part where he plays along being deaf, which makes you like the character because he's trying to help and he's being a bit smart about it. Thankfully, this shoe shine guy knows all the people in the building, so he's able to get Johnny Depp to all these places that he wouldn't be able to before. Wow, this guy knows enough people that he could get Johnny Depp to see the governor face to face without any security, without any Secret Service to get in his way. That's very lucky of him. Very lucky. And that's what I mean by, like, well, how many conveniences do you get till you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? And I say, if you're very heavily into a suspense film, you'll let that stuff go. And I did that. It's stuff that popped in my head, but I still don't hate the film because it was, I don't know if I want to say it's harmless. That's a weird way to put it, but it's like, okay, I'm liking the actors. I like the two lead characters. Well, I like the actors, and it was nice to just watch them play off each other. Depp versus Walken, and the concept I like. I think this is a film that, again, if you employ tactics, aesthetics that would later be employed in like 24, the TV show with Kiefer Sutherland, or you really kept, even in Phone Booth later on, like I said, if you got like a Brian De Palma, or you got someone a bit more maybe used to this suspense game, I think could have played off a bit better. At least to me. Oh, like another convenience is that, thankfully, we get two random people going, the walkies don't work in this building. Yeah, they don't work in here. Something's blocking the signal for the walkies. Thankfully, Johnny Depp heard those two random people say that out loud, and thankfully that was an environment that the walkies just happened to not work, so that when things go haywire, Christopher Walken can't call the lady to, hey, go ahead and shoot her. You get this feeling that this should have been more, like the movie should have been more to it. Again, I don't quite know how else to word it. It felt like, it wasn't that bad. It was short. It didn't overstay its welcome. And, it's enough curiosity to make you go, well, how's Johnny Depp going to get out of the situation? Like I said, I think the actors do their jobs well. I know some people say it was filmed like a made-for-TV movie. I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot more camera work, angle, editing you could detail into the film. But I think at least it was average for a theatrical movie, directing-wise. Yeah, I don't think this is one of John Badham's best movies. All the films I mentioned before I would put above it. Well, would I put Drop Zone above this? I might put Drop Zone above this. That's kind of how I feel about Drop Zone. Like, they're alright, but I feel like they could be better. But I would say The Hard Way I liked more, Short Circuit I liked more, Stakeout, War Games, Blue Thunder, etc. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm kind of rambling on this review, but I don't quite know how to... Maybe someone who's a lot smarter than me, they can word it in the comments section. I would love to hear it. And if you love the film, again, that's fine. I don't, like I said, I don't hate the film. I would probably give it like maybe 3 out of 5 stars. But with the concept of the talent involved, with a good director and 2 solid actors, this is a movie that should have been at least a 4-star movie out of 5. And instead, at best, it's a 3. There's something lacking about it. I don't quite know how to word it. Again, maybe too many conveniences, maybe tighter editing, even more so, or maybe make the movie entirely from Johnny Depp's point of view and don't let go from him. But I think about, this just popped up randomly, in Duel, when our lead character's in the bar and he's looking and he doesn't know which one is the driver, and the way Spielberg directed that, where is it this person? Is it this person? I'm looking at their boots. Maybe that could have been a bit with Johnny Depp, like, who do I trust? Can I trust this person? Can I trust this person? And I say we focus solely on him and we don't deviate from other stuff, and maybe make the script a bit tighter so we can loosen, or we can tighten up at least some of those convenient moments. Or, I don't know. I got nothing. I apologize. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Alright film. Not a bad film. I don't think it's as bad as critics made it out to be, but I can understand if they expected more and they felt a bit disappointed. I can understand that as well. So, but I do think it's at least worth a watch for the cast and to see Johnny Depp play a character that's a bit more normal, for lack of a better word. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.